Good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to be joined by my colleague, Minister Derek Burgess, members of the Bermuda Taxi Association's executive, and MP George Scott, an advocate for the taxi industry, and Mr. Charles Clark, who has also been a strong advocate for improvements in the taxi industry. Since the implementation of computerized dispatch, the Ministry of Tourism and Transport has worked closely with the industry to foster continuing dialogue on issues of importance. Since the start of these discussions, we've seen a decrease in customer complaints, increased revenue to owners and operators, and improved statistical data collection. These are things that we had hoped for, and I'm pleased to say that progress is being made in all of these areas. While we are not yet there, yet I'm confident that we are moving in the right direction. Among the issues we have discussed with the industry are the extension of a fuel rebate to taxis, better insurance coverage, improved service in the area of automotive repairs, and of course, a fare increase. I'm grateful to Minister Burgess, who has facilitated much of these discussions on these issues over several months. To date, I understand the fuel rebate to be well in hand, and that the Taxi Association has engaged in fruitful discussions with at least one retailer of fuel, and that the other areas are shortly to bring positive results. In keeping with the progress that this constructive dialogue has brought, I am pleased to advise the public that Cabinet has approved, at my invitation, a 10.5% increase in taxi fares with effect from December 1, 2007. We consider this increase to be proper in all the circumstances and reflective of the needs within the industry and something which can be accommodated by the traveling public. We will continue to be vigilant in improving service to the public and remain committed to providing better coverage for the airport in the evenings and to working with the industry for better service at night. GPS is here to stay, and I am comforted by the increasing number of drivers who have tried the system and report its tremendous benefits to their efficiency and earning capacity. In this regard, I have asked the chairman of the Public Service Vehicles Licensing Board to maintain their keen attention to the dispatching companies and their compliance with the law, as well as strict enforcement of the use of computerized dispatch in all taxi service in Bermuda. When there's a need to strengthen or clarify areas of the existing legislation, it will be done without delay when the legislature is next in session. Ladies and gentlemen, the progress in the taxi industry is real and ongoing. The commitment we made to making these improvements is a work in progress, and the continued dialogue between government and the industry is vital to the success of this critical sector of public transport. I'd like to invite Minister Burgess to make a few remarks because, as I mentioned, he has been instrumental in the effort to improve the taxi industry for all parties concerned. Minister.
Thank you, Premier Brown. Good morning, everyone. A few months ago, I entered negotiations between the taxi operators and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. The two sides were trying to resolve a number of issues relating to rising costs in the taxi industry and customer complaints over service. The Premier touched on a number of those issues a moment ago. I'm happy to report here that there's been much progress, particularly over the past few weeks. You may recall that exactly 1 month ago, the Premier said publicly that talks between the two sides have reached a mature stage on the topic of fare increase. That was a direct result of talks in which I personally performed as facilitator. The Ministry of Labor and Immigration is dedicated to promoting harmony in the workplace amongst workers and between employers and employees. That is the kind of work that we perform on a daily basis behind closed doors. The industry measures mentioned today by the Premier, including the taxi fare increase, go a long way towards promoting harmony between the Bermuda Taxi Association and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. I believe that a harmonious workforce is more likely to produce higher performance on the job and better customer service. Our talks do not end today. Our goals include reducing the financial burden on taxi operators, increasing the level of compliance on TCD regulations, and above all, providing service for visitors and residents who rely on the taxi industry. Therefore, there is still much work to be done in the taxi industry, and I look forward to a more progress that will result in a win-win for all sides. Thank you.
Premier, how was the increase measured? What measurements did you use to?
Oh, we used the figures that we got from the industry with respect to the cost of operation. The consumer price index figured into it, and we thought that this would be a very reasonable increase. You'll recall that the last increase was in 2004, correct? And my predecessor had promised another increase, and although it didn't come at the time that it was promised, we are happy now to have caught up. We think this increase helps the industry to catch up.